Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. So for today's video, it seems like every single day I'm seeing some sort of Pascal Siakam trade rumor pop up on the timeline. And I really wanted to talk about it because, I, for one, especially this past year, I've been very pro Toronto Raptors. And I'm just like, it's a similar circumstance to the Golden State Warriors, where the Warriors were a really good team, had some unfortunate injuries and other things happen, and they ended up getting a really good draft pick. Now we're all like, next year they're going to be amazing. And that's like my same thoughts with this Toronto Raptors team, Pascal Siakam, and their new draft pick, Scottie Barnes, who is an absolute beast, by the way. So for today's video, guys, I want to speak my truth, on Pascal Siakam. If I think that the Toronto Raptors should trade him, I also want your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment section below on this. And also, we're going to look at some of the teams that are interested to see what exactly a trade would look like. So if you guys don't mind leaving a like on this video, 1,000 likes is always the goal. And of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Dropping that like and subscribing, man, this time of year extremely important because the NBA season, there's like nothing going on. So it really does help keep the channel, afloat in the algorithm, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for that, man. But yes, so Pascal Siakam. I guess first and foremost, let's look at the Raptors last season, man. Last season, they had a record of 27-45, and I mean, 12th in the Eastern Conference. There's no way in hell that team is going to be that bad again next season, man. It's just not going to happen. And when it comes down to it, what was the reasoning behind the Raptors' lack of success last year? I mean, for one, they were not playing in Canada. They were not playing on their home court. And I mean, I understand, these guys are all professionals. You should be able to play anywhere. But still, the handicap of just playing in a location where essentially none of your fans can go, there is something to be said about that. It's like playing an 82-game season on the road all the time. And, I mean, okay, I guess it was a shortened season technically, 72 games or whatever. But still, man, like, that's so huge. And then I know guys like Fred VanVleet, he got, like, COVID and everything. He lost, I think it was, like, 30 pounds in the course of a few weeks, which is insane. Like, that's just not healthy. I don't care how you look at it. That's, if you lose 30 pounds right now, man, like, you are just not going to be the same type of player, right? So looking at Pascal Siakam, this last NBA season, a lot of people are roasting this man, and I do not get it. I do not get it. I understand that, in the clutch, he wasn't the greatest. I understand that maybe he isn't the number one option on a championship team. I'm actually leaning towards he's not. Kawhi Leonard was perfect for this Raptors team, but he's still a hell of a good player, man. Last season, 21 points, 7 rebounds per game, about 4 or 5 assists, which I love seeing this. Like, just the increase of playmaking and everything is great. Not to mention the assists went up and the turnovers actually went down, so there's something to be said about that. As far as being like an anchor on the inside, I mean, I don't think Pascal is a center by any stretch of the imagination. He is one of those guys where I'm like, yeah, he probably should only play power forward. Maybe in some circumstances you can play him at the center position in like a small ball lineup. For the most part, I think he's a power forward. Although I will say it's intriguing by the idea of Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, OG, and then having Scottie at the 4 with Pascal at the 5 for like spacing reasons. That actually seems really intriguing. But yeah, man, the 3-point shot was down, which, the fact of the matter, he still averaged near his career high with his, 3-point shot being down about 6-7%. He actually shot less shots, which I was actually kind of surprised by. I thought he was going to take more shots playing, without Kawhi Leonard and stuff. But for the most part, I mean, he's still right there anyway. So a lot of that's just getting the other teammates involved and seeing what they're capable of too, right? So, I just don't understand this whole thing going on with Pascal where, people think he needs to be traded or he's just like this trash player. You can be a great NBA player without being a number one option. Please believe me, I know that can happen for a fact, okay? I know that can happen for a fact. Now, also, though, my other issue, but also where I'm like, okay, I could see why they would trade him, but I could also see why they wouldn't. It's kind of a weird situation, man. Looking at the next year's roster for the Toronto Raptors, let me shrink myself down here real quick here, man. Looking at the roster right here, I mean, you have Scottie Barnes. Scottie Barnes on a $7 million contract. Like, obviously, it's his rookie deal and everything. Where Pascal's getting paid $33 million, which equates for 20% of the total cap. So, you look at the starting 5, and you would think, for one, they did not really... They got Zibanga? When did that happen? They did not really address the center position. Like, I know you have Chris Boucher. he shot 38% from 3 last year. We don't know if that's an anomaly or something like that, man. Like, that could be like, okay, like maybe he's not that good, maybe he is that good, I don't really know. But still, like, defensively, I guess you got Ken Birchback, which fine. Precious Achiuwa maybe takes a step forward. He wasn't the greatest of the rookie for the Miami Heat. But overall, you look at the starting five and you're like, okay, Fred, Gary, OG, Pascal, center, probably Boucher, I guess, at this point, although I really hope they do something else at this point, but we'll kind of see about that, man. And you're like, okay, well, then where's Scotty Barnes? Like, how does he kind of fit into the team? Well, with that mindset, I think the best role for Scotty Barnes, because people are really kind of like determining what Scotty's role in the NBA going to be. Can he play that point guard spot? Do you want to use him more as a point forward? I wouldn't really use him as an off-ball guy because I do like the ball in his hands, but I was watching some highlights of him, and like people are even seeing like, you know, Scotty is like the next like Ben Simmons. That's not true. I think Scotty Barnes can be better than Ben Simmons. I was watching some of his summer league highlights, and yes, I know it's summer league. This dude got a pretty ass form, man. This dude got a fluent looking form. Like I'm looking like that's a basketball shot. Unlike the little catapult that, you know, Ben Simmons does, like Scotty Barnes looks great. That's not to hate on Ben Simmons, although I kind of technically just did. But I'm thinking with Scotty, if you don't want to trade Pascal, then what you probably do is you use Scotty as a six-man, and you literally try him out at every position with all these different lineups throughout the NBA season. See how he does as a backup point guard. See how he does as a power forward. See how he does as a probably not shooting guard, as a small forward, maybe a small ball center, something like that, man. And you really get a feel for it, and you address it then. I don't think you need to trade Pascal right now. I think this team, especially having, like a 28-year-old Fred VanVleet, like, I feel like this team wants to compete. And I mean, if Scotty Barnes can have a rookie of the year type of year, then who knows, man? Like, the sky's the limit, right? So, looking at some of the trades, if they decided to go and be like, okay, Pascal, like, we want to give the reins to Scotty Barnes, he's going to play the 4 spot, that's what we're going to do, then obviously you're looking at trading Pascal, right? But this is where it gets kind of confusing. If you insert Scotty into the starting lineup at the 4, then what the hell do you trade Pascal for? Because you're, I guess, probably a center. I think you only do a Pascal trade if you get a good center out of it. That's the only way. So we're gonna go ahead and hit up the trade finder, or I guess trade machine, not trade finder. It's not no damn 2K. We're gonna do the trade machine real quick here, guys. Let me edit this up here for you all, man, so you can see the entire screen. By the way, I hope you guys have been enjoying these NBA talk type of videos. I love making them. They're so much fun. But the 3 teams that are interested in trading for Pascal Siakam, last time I saw, Sacramento Kings, LA Clippers, and Golden State Warriors. Let's start off with the Golden State Warriors. So for the Warriors, you know, this is a team right here that's always been like, okay, we don't really need to do like anything too crazy as center because we already, you know, we have like the Splash Bros and everything, and typically our centers are like Kevon Looney, JaVale McGee, Zaza Pachulia, Andrew Bogut for a bit, and they always got by with that. So I think with this type of trade right here, you're obviously trading Pascal over to the Warriors, and I think in return, you are trading, I'm going to say James Wiseman, because like I said, the Raptors are only doing this if they get a center back, and James Wiseman instantly fits in with this rebuild. It's not really a rebuild, but, you know, he fits in with what the Raptors are doing, and he takes care of that center spot for the next 15 years. So that's great. Now, obviously, you got to toss him some more money to make it work, and at this point, you have a decision to be made. Are you running Pascal at the small ball center spot and having Draymond Green out there? Or maybe do you want to keep Pascal at the 4? You can trade Wiggins away, and then you can get, like, you know, you can have Draymond at the 4, I guess at the 3 spot technically, with Pascal at the 4, and then just keep your thing at the center. But I think this type of trade, for it to work financially, you know, James Wiseman has to be part of it, and it's probably going to be Andrew Wiggins. I don't know how Warrior fans feel about that. Me personally, I mean, I love Pascal, but this is like a trade where I'm like, okay, the Warriors, they don't really need to do this. They don't really need to do this trade. But, yeah, man. So I guess maybe if you look at it too, this might free up some more PT for Jonathan Kuminga, I suppose. But even, not really. But it's the only trade I think that makes any remote sense whatsoever. And like I said, the tough part here is, you know, making the salary match and everything. So I don't think it would be Wiggins for Pascal straight up. I really don't. Andrew Wiggins has not made an all-star team yet. He's had a really good improvement on his game, you know, especially going into last year. But, you know, you're not going to trade an all-star for a non-all-star. So that's why I have this trade going on. Let's see if it works. Try trade, and success. -3 for the Raptors. But, man, even with Wiggins, though, I'm like, it doesn't really make sense. Because then it's like OG going to the bench? right? Ah, man, maybe Gary Trent, and you put Wiggins at the 2. I don't really know, man. It's such a weird, I'm like, just keep Pascal. Just keep Pascal. Okay, so let's get rid of the Warriors, and let's go up to the next team that's interested, and that is going to be the LA Clippers. So I actually really like the idea of this, that they can actually pull it off. I simply do not think there's a trade to pull it off here. I really don't, because once again, I said you don't really trade an all-star without getting some sort of all-star, or at least get some young prospects back like a James Wiseman. But the reason I love this trade is because, for one, it teams up Pascal with Kawhi again, but also Kawhi's missing much of next season. So, you know, like Pascal and Paul George, that could be something. That really could be something. But you look at the assets here, you know, you got like Keon Johnson. That's not going to be enough to get Pascal Siakam. I guess you have the salaries to match if you want to toss in like Luke Kennard. You know, Luke Kennard could actually be a solid fit on the Toronto Raptors. But once again, man, like, to trade away Pascal Siakam, I think you're better off just kind of keeping him on the team. So I'm going to say the Clippers do not have a trade to make this happen. And pick-wise, I don't think they have a ton of them because of all the Paul George, you know, picks they give up in those trades and stuff like that, man. So finally, the final team that's really, really interested, but I don't think there's mutual interest from what I read in that article at the beginning of this video, is the Sacramento Kings. So yeah, with the Kings, you're probably looking at something along the lines of, okay, well, we got Pascal going here. I would say it would be Buddy Hield, who's been on their trade block forever, and Marvin Bagley. And by doing that, you know, Pascal, they get themselves a forward on the Kings, go next to De'Aaron Fox or Sean Holmes. Also, by trading away Buddy Hield, you free up, you know, some more minutes for guys like Davion Mitchell to play, who's looking really good in Summer League. And for the Raptors side of things, you got Marvin Bagley to be your starting center, because 6'11", he says listed as a power forward, but I think center's fine. And then Buddy Hield just gives you, you know, a veteran scorer, man, one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. So that's a little interesting right there. I don't think it's the worst trade. You can probably argue some additional assets on both sides if you really want to get nitty and gritty with it, I guess, nitty and gritty. Let's try the trade, and it's successful further, man. So yeah, my thoughts is do not trade Pascal. Scotty Barnes has a very, very long NBA career. You know, I don't think it's going to hinder his development if he, as a 18 or 19-year-old, comes off the bench for a season, and then you go into next year, you kind of see what we have, and you know, you kind of go from there, man. So that's all we have for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. Be sure to drop that like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, give me your thoughts on all this in the comment section below, and peace out, my friends.